Greetings, YouTube. At the time of this filming, I am currently wrapping up the book Stoned by Aja Raden. I think I'm saying her name correctly. And the book deals with jewelry and gems and their economic and social impacts. And the last chapter of the book deals with pearls, and specifically about the Japanese noodle maker that came up with the first truly successful way of making commercial, perfectly spherical pearls for the market. And they are true pearls. When they say culture, they are true. There's a piece of oyster in there, and they're implanted into an oyster, and the oyster lays down the nacre on it. I think I'm saying that it's N-A-C-R-E. I think it's nacre, but I could be wrong in that. So they're truly pearls, and the nice thing about them is that they're very consistent. They're like 6 to 8 millimeters, and they can produce them by the millions, as opposed to the natural pearl market, where you might have maybe 100 to 200 gem quality or jewelry quality pearls discovered per year, as opposed to millions of cultured pearls that are all perfectly symmetrical. But that got me thinking. Now, this really didn't go into production until the early part of the 20th century, like 1900 to 1930. But if you're in a fantasy setting, biotechnology is a thing. And it has existed in several different places in both published fictional series, in published gaming settings. For example, I could think of the Halflings in the Dark Sun setting that use biotechnology. There are numerous examples of that in like different tailored plants and animals that mad scientists and different races have produced. So that got me thinking. They'd be able to come up with cultured pearls and pearlescent armors and things like that at a much earlier technological time period because of magic. So you wouldn't have to wait until an industrial revolution to kick in to start producing very consistent pearls, all of symmetrical and of any size or color that you wanted, all the hues of the rainbow. Now, they're going to be produced by the races of the ocean, whatever races you use in your world, doesn't matter. And they are going to be using them as currency, probably. However, the peoples on the surface may use them as currency because no one on the surface can counterfeit them. And because they're all uniform and they can be done in different denominations, both in size and color, it would be very easy to set them up as a form of international currency, trade. So it's literally beads being passed from person to person, and they have a set value because everyone knows where they come from and their known quality. Now, I think, I'm not positive, but I don't know if it was a published today, but I know someone had talked to me about this years ago, and I was discussing currency in another video, where they had in their world, gems were done. But gems still have to be dug out of the ground, and gems take millions or billions of years to form, unless, of course, you're just having them appear from the material plane of Earth, the elemental plane of Earth. But in the real world, it takes millions and billions of years to produce gem quality stones, and then they have to be cut properly. So getting a bunch of uniform gemstones that could then be used as currency is harder, whereas you can get gem quality pearls in like 3 to 4 years, and they can be exactly the same. So that uniformity makes them very attractive as a currency. And I just love the idea of strands of pearls being used to pay for debts and things like that. Not to mention you can easily wear them as jewelry to carry your money around and safer than putting it into a coin purse kind of thing. I know that at one time gold chain was often used that way. You would literally break off links and pay with it with the links of gold because it was the weight of the metal that was the important thing. So I really like the idea. I mean, this idea just popped into my head like last night while I was at work reading. Um, but yeah, I like the idea of pearls being produced by some aquatic race in a high fantasy setting being used as currency on the surface. Um, so let's play with that idea. Has anybody ever used something like that? Is this a new idea to you? Do you think it's workable, or do you think that it might just be too strange? It's too far outside the classic what you want for a currency in your world kind of thing. Maybe it's not a common day currency, but maybe it's something to use for big trade agreements between trading houses or governments, that kind of thing. So there's possibilities here. Maybe it's not the common man currency, but something used at the higher end echelons, kind of like bearer bonds. Like these pearl to pearls maybe are playing the same role as bearer bonds. Your average person, for example, I have never laid my eyes or hands on a bearer bond. I probably never will. But I know they exist, and I know that people in the world use them for transfers of large sums of money. So maybe these pearls are used in the same way. So let's talk about pearls, the only truly organic gemstone.